Here is a 2024 Kia K5 GT in wolf gray with black interior, the GT line. This is going to get all the sports attributes on the exterior. And what I like about the Kia line opposed to Honda is we still have a true GT. That's going to have 290 horsepower. It's going to be just shy of a Toyota Camry V6. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and the front fascia, you're going to notice a little bit of a difference. It looks more mean because you got a sport attribute that's going to highlight the lower. The Tiger Nose grille gets the silver inserts that brush into the LED headlights and signature Kia daytime runnings that integrate into the fender. So it makes it visually longer and look wider for the K5 compared to a Toyota. The new Honda Accord, it does look wider, but the powertrain is going to be the carryover turbo or the new hybrid system, which is not going to be as athletic as the GT. But when you're getting this, it's all aesthetics. So the side view mirror caps will get the gloss black. You'll get a trunk lip spoiler with the gloss black. The lower bumper in the rear gets gloss black, highlighting the dual exhaust outlets and the side gills on the rear bumper. Also upgrading the wheels to these two-tone 18-inch machine finish alloy wheels. But underneath the hood is going to house the 1.6 liter turbocharged four-cylinder with 180 horsepower and 196 pound-feet of torque, which is more than the Honda's turbocharged engine, achieving 27 mpgs for the city and 37 mpgs for the highway. That's all paired to 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, comparing it to the Nissan Altima, which it's on its last couple of years. The VC turbocharged engine is going to be quicker than this, but if you get the standard powertrain, this is going to be a little bit faster than that. Plus, it's backed with a CVT transmission, whereas this is an 8-speed automatic transmission. And bump it up to the GT, and you're basically getting a TRD in a Kia, because of how much performance that you're getting, and it's actually going to be faster than the Camry, and it's going to look just as sporty as this. That's why I kind of like the GT line, because if you don't want to fork out the extra dough, you just want the styling Q, you can at least still get that on the exterior and in the interior, plus you're saving some fuel, and you're not getting the more powerful variant, because in some cases, it might be too much, because you're talking over 100 horsepower more than this. LED tail lights, the rear, like we were saying at the front, it's going to be the most athletic in the K5 unless you go into the GT. I will say the TRD Camry has a more aggressive exit because the way they do their spoiler, and I wish this was a hatch, because the vehicle that we lost that was on the same platform, the Stinger, was a hatchback, in which it gave extra cargo capacity. It was a sportback design, but it still keeps the same attribute on the exterior, and it gives you either that performance look or full performance blended in. Quick release, going into 16 cubic feet of storage. It's still pretty deep inside. Underneath the floor, if I can show you, has that spare tire, split fold the rear bench in the back at a 40-60 split. I'm a little tall, so I'm gonna try to do it this way. It's not gonna fold it completely flat, but it's good enough. We need to go inside, start it up, so you can hear that exhaust note. Headroom and leg room. It is going to be a driver focus. That is the wall that comes in between the driver and passenger. You'll have the aluminum look inlays, satin aluminum around the air vents, and it's a 2-tier dashboard with a touchscreen, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio, Kia Connect. Put it into reverse, and we got a reverse camera. The lines will expand out. You can also change the camera layout, but it will not cover the whole screen, which is a big con for me because I don't need to see the GPS or my time when I'm doing my reverse. I don't mind it so much here because it gives like 2 screens. Maybe the passenger needs to see what they're changing to, but even putting double navigation, it's just a little bit of an overkill. I like the sport design that comes into the air vents, and they do the same on all of them. And that aluminum look brushes into the door panels. So they do a good job at making it sporty. The gloss black elements go into the gauge cluster, which can go through an array of information for the driver, including turn-by-turn navigation. Dual climate control settings, USB 12 volt, and the key fob for the K5. Leather around the shifter. Auto hold, which is a nice feature to get because you don't have to hold the brake when you are at a stoplight. Driving mode select. You can change this. It's not going to do anything as a wow. This is the base engine, but you do have 4 different modes that you can toggle through. QI wireless charger that goes right in here. It's going to be more sport. Open it up, and it's a pretty deep storage pocket. It just becomes a little bit narrow towards the back, and it is pushed back a little bit more so considering how long this center cluster is. Leather wrap steering wheel, flat bottom GT line, multi-function, and the dash and the door panels do a good job keeping the sport feel. And I like how this kind of bulges up because it gives a little bit of a retro twist. One touch up and down just for the driver, soft to touch here, a long storage pocket with a beverage holder carved out. For the back seats, headroom, it's really good. Same thing with the leg space, and you have storage behind both of the front seats. 2 USB ports, the floor isn't flat, which you'll see here in a second. Armrest with cup holders, and it has a bit of a sport bolstering, but it sits backwards a little bit more so, giving it a more sporty but comfortable feel. The door panel keeps the same segment, but you're losing that aluminum line that would be here that's found on the front door panels that go into the dashboard. It's going to be soft only here and a smaller storage pocket. Sliding to the center, you'll be sharing a little bit of feet space, but not that much. Butt and shoulder space. It's actually a very wide vehicle inside. Really, the only thing that's tight is headspace if you're over 6 foot tall. 1.6 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged. When you're considering how small this engine is, 180 horsepower is quite a bit with 196 pound-feet of torque. It's not going to be the fastest variant in class, but anything that is comparable when you're hovering around the $30,000 price point and trying to get a larger sedan, it becomes hard to find something that is as good as Kia. They have really stepped up their game in the past few years, in which Toyota's going through a full refresh. Honda just went through a full refresh a couple years ago, in which they made a powertrain that's hybrid to get all the features. At least with Kia, they're not going that route. You can still get over 100 horsepower more than this when you go to the true GT. As for the feel to the car, you sit kind of low, which is good. Door panels are raised, so it has a sporty feel. You're going to hear some of the road noise in the interior. You don't feel any of the imperfections in the road, and these are upgraded wheels. The sport bolstering to the seat isn't over the top, so it does a good job contouring to your body. And the front windscreen is large enough. It feels very sporty, especially the way they configure the door panels into the dash, because everything is driver focused here. And it kind of makes you want to mash on that pedal. Unfortunately, it is a sleeper underneath the hood, and it's going to take me to some pros and cons before we do any of the performance testing on the GT line. The pros is you can fit a family in this vehicle. It's going to feel a little bit more sporty. You're not getting that underneath the hood, which is a con for me, because for a few grand I would just go that route. You get the upgraded wheels, you get the sport bolstering, heated front seats. We don't have a moonroof. We do get an auto dimming rear view mirror. Gas consumption is really good because this is a small engine. And driving it on a long journey, I mean, you're going to be comfortable. Road noise does filter in a little bit more so, but that's going to be the same with Honda and Toyota. I would say Honda is going to be more quiet compared to all of them. Turn radius at a stop point, it's going to get about 2 lanes. Let's rock and roll. It's pretty quick. It feels quicker than the numbers project, which makes it a little bit more of a fun drive. It will be tire happy. The big problem that I have with the K5 though is when you're getting into these sedans, I'm not expecting so much driver focus. I don't mind so much with the screen layout, but putting this little wall here, I mean, it's an overkill. Even if you go into the true GT, I want to have ability for my passengers to utilize some of this storage or some of the ports, because more than likely I'm going to be using the QI charger. Some other cons about the vehicle is when you fold down the rear seats, they don't fold down to a flat 40/60 fold, in which the cargo is actually really good. So losing about 4 inches from top to bottom does kind of make it hurt a little bit, and the entrance to it from the cargo area is a little bit more tight for my liking. Honda does a little bit better job in the sense of opening it up. Fun to drive though. It's going to be similar to the Nissan Altima, the VC turbocharged engine, even though this is not the true GT. And I'm saying that because when you push it or just leave it into sport mode, this turbocharge is really, it's just ready to go. And typically when you get these vehicles, you want to either leave it on normal or sport. If you put it into smart, what's going to happen? It makes the car feel very heavy. So for me, I would leave it into sport mode because you're getting great MPGs anyways. You will sit up a little bit higher in the sense of where the windscreen is. So for taller people, I can see them complaining about this visor nearly hitting their head, but they do carve out the windshield a little bit better, so that way you're not looking like this to see if you come up to a red light. Performance at its best, there we go. So you can see it has the power to get you up and going in a rural area. And it's still a smooth drive, so you're not sacrificing to go into a more sporty variant where you'll feel the road imperfections. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like. And I'd like to thank Regal Kia for giving us this 2024 Kia K5 GT line for our car review.